Today 3D printing has a potential in every aspect of manufacturing, and this is a unique initiative and which I feel would help each and every seeker in this domain to further his interest and grow the technology.
It is going to bring about a revolution. You can think that a world without a disease, without disability.
Today I can say that whatever that you can imagine can be actually put into practice with the medium of a software to print or give substance to your ideas with the help of 3D technology.
It's been our conscious effort in terms of want to communicate and create the awareness.
Faster and better, and it's easy for people to access it and make interesting products out and take their imaginations into reality.
This is a platform where we can promote these technologies
for a simple reason, because 3D printing is a technology which is going to change the way things are.
Very good morning to you, and welcome you all to 3D GRAPHY News. This is yet another session which is going to be, I'm sure, very engaging and very informative, since we have an opportunity to connect with Mr. Swapnil Sansare, who is the founder of AboutDivide By Zero, a company which was started in the year 2013, I believe, and have been really actively looking forward to creating solutions in 3D printing from what we understand. And we've also seen the growth story, and I think it will be interesting for Swapnil to share those insights eventually as we progress. In the meantime, let me introduce ourselves. 3D GRAPHY News is a platform that we've started a year back, maybe 6 months back. We did a pilot project to understand how this platform can be useful for the end user, because it also came up with like an outward-inward approach, wherein doctors, surgeons, material scientists, and engineers, and people from design, they've actually asked us to see if there can be an information source through online space that we can do. Also because, ladies and gentlemen, last 8 years we've been actively pursuing and communicating 3D technology in the country. So 3D technology includes 3D printing, 3D scanning, 3D visualization. AR and VR is also a very key component and a solution. So it is also going to complement 3D printing, 3D simulation, 3D software, and also material science, because with new materials coming out, I think it is becoming more and more interesting for end users to make a choice with hydroxyapatite in dental, wherein we are also seeing that even mandibles and reconstruction for maxillofacial surgeons, also for zirconia, now that can be 3D printed, and ceramics. So there is multiple materials that we are actually looking at. Even in aerospace and defense, we have materials like Altem and various materials like PEEK, and the list is vast. So here is a platform that we thought should be very, very clearly defined to address and communicate to the end users, and for the 3D technology companies also to know what the end users' expectations are. Because we need to see that, how we can bridge that gap. And also for the end users to know what are the various different technologies that they can probably look at procuring. So 3D GRAPHY was started in the year 2015 with our platform on events. And subsequently, it is also now turning out to be which is actually turned out to be like a 3D GRAPHY consortium, where we have dental practitioners, surgeons, researchers, material scientists, engineers, designers, and 3D companies and 3D technology companies all got together and have participated and have been a part of this journey. And it's been 8 years. We've done almost 43 events addressing each and every different sectors to get to know what is the need of the hour and what and how various new solutions innovatively can actually help the end user. So today I take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Swapnil. Swapnil, very good morning and thanks for your time. And let me quickly ask you, Swapnil, how did it all start? Because that's the first thing that the audience would want to know. Though I would know, but I would rather want you to share out your experiences.
Good morning, Shibu. Thank you for giving this opportunity here. I think for us, Divide by Zero, for me, it started back in 2012 when I think I just left my job and I was working with 3D printers and trying around. And I think open source movement was very aggressive back then. And we realized there are a lot of issues with existing machines that are available. And at that point of time, I guess we see some machines like MakerBoard or Ultimaker were in the market making news, making that buzz in the US market especially. A lot was happening there. 2013-14 was the time when MakerBoard was in the news like anything. But we realized there are a lot of issues in the machines and maybe some new materials need to be introduced into 3D printing, and we should focus on solving some software problems as well. And that's where me and one of my friends, we were working on the software part of it, and I started working on the machine. Actually, Divide by Zero, was supposed to start as a service bureau, then a 3D printer manufacturing company. But eventually, when we started making these machines and started offering our services in 2013, and I remember there was this exhibition by, I think, one of the plastic manufacturers association in India, in around December or November of 2013, when we displayed our machines there, as we were, we've already discussed this before as well, that users were feeling that this machine will make maybe molding obsolete or CNC machining obsolete, and they were hesitant to even try and maybe look at the technology. They were worried how this will go. But then, as we wanted to offer services, many of them said rather than services, we want to pick up machines. And that's where we saw a lot of demand for 3D printers, especially desktop machines, and there was huge gap. In fact, there were hardly any Chinese machines coming in at that point of time into the market, and it was new. So it started from there. A very small start. In fact, as a startup, 2-people company, we started in 2013. Effort was there into 3D printers since 2010. We were, basically following the open source movement, and from there, finally 2013, we launched our machines and did our first sale in 2013 December. So yeah, that's all. That's how Divide by Zero started for us. I think it had been it is a great journey, and from then, when people had hardly any knowledge about 3D printing, and now when people know about 3D printing and they come up and they ask, okay, whether can you do this material, what is the resolution, what is the size, what is the layer thickness, and so the whole game has changed now, and obviously it was supposed to change. That's how change is the constant. But now when we look at it, it's all about applications, it's all about materials, it's also about the process and the control that you have. It's about the speed and the quality of the output on the machine. So from just a prototyping machine when we started, to now a small batch manufacturing or on-demand manufacturing, machines that can support that kind of requirement is where we are now. So yeah, that's about briefly about the journey.
Yeah. So now that with prototyping, I think people are also looking at production grade printers, because now they are looking at the final parts. And I've been seeing a lot of work that you've been doing in research and in materials in terms of making it more efficient for companies to look at that as an option when it comes to safety, when it comes to, I was just watching your safety on fire, on various materials like Altum or various, So what is the scope in these production set machines, Swapnil? What do you see? What is the kind of markets that you seeing there? Apart from prototype, because you can't leave away with prototyping. That's a must, because today every company, before they would want to go in for mass production, they would definitely want to see the proof of concept. So prototyping is a given, but I'm also looking at the larger prospects of production led industrial printers, uh, with various materials that probably you're here to offer.
So on, I guess I would say mass customization side, or I would say on-demand manufacturing side. I think first of all we have very large industry in packaging, and even in other industries wherein we are a good manufacturer as an Indian industry. We make a few million, around 4 to 5 million SPM machines only for packaging industry. That too, one type of typical bottle packaging industry, okay, per year. And again, we have huge demand on the side wherein we are into patterns. So casting industry is huge, wherein you need patterns, casting, sand casting, investment casting, and even core boxes. So that is huge, because there you need 5, 7, 10 patterns. That's it. SPM industry, as I said, is huge. Then you have fixturing industry, because in India we have now we have a lot of even electronics and medical device companies coming into India and manufacturing it here and preferring India as their choice of country to set up their manufacturing plant. So especially with that kind of requirement, wherein you have 4G, 5G devices being built up, and all these manufacturing units, they need fixtures. And also these fixtures, every fixture has unique design according to the stage and according to the model that they are supporting for that particular electronic device. So fixtures, patterns, and under the hood components for SPMs, I would say. These, even if you look at these three industries, they're huge, and they are looking at 3D printing, and they're trying. But then what you need is right material, right finish and properties of the material. So as I said, or maybe you've seen the video for Ultim. So you need a space grade material, or aerospace grade material for that kind of application, right? You need a material that can maybe have FDA approval if you are looking at say fixtures that are being used for medical devices, because you never know what where these medical devices are going and what kind of components you are building there. So you need even materials on fixturing also is required to be of that level for medical grade application. So that is there. So yes, so maybe PP can be used there. FDA approved PP is available. You can use materials like polycarbonate, because they are amazing mechanical properties and temperature resistance for under the hood, or especially SPM manufacturing for packaging and all. So material plays very important role. Secondly, I think first of all the application, wherever you need your mass customization, or every design is unique. 3D printing can change the game completely for sure. We have seen cost saving, and maybe time saving to the tune of 80%. Cost saving to the tune of 80%, time saving around 70 to 75% when it's compared with traditional methods. And our approach is simple. I mean, we try and look at and talk to customers, understand end users' problem, go to their shop floor and help them and support them. Maybe we are working for a quarter, we are working with 2 or 3 customers, but they have huge requirements. When you talk about packaging, when you talk about SPMs, I mean, huge. So we are also now looking at possibilities with metal centering, even ceramic part of it, because that's something which is required for high tension electronic devices, ceramic especially. So that is something that we are looking at. Metal, yes, but even in metal, what we are looking at is how we can make the metal centering cost effective, because for many industries in India, and especially for mold, plastic mold industry, you need, if at all you use 3D printed molds, the cost or the throughput is much higher, because the kind of cooling channels that you can put through the mold is completely different. So again, that industry requires an affordable solution there. So that is also something that is in pipeline for us. But majorly right now, one area here is that application and material development are the key role. I mean, it plays a key role here when it comes to SPMs, patterns, and then, as I said, fixtures. These are three industries wherein maximum mass customization is happening. What we can see.
So when you talked about materials, Swapnil, are you also working with institutions like various IITs and likewise, so that you work in conflicts together to create those, or you have your in-house setup to do that?
So we are working with a lot of institutes. So even in some of the IITs, some of the institutions like Kanha University. There are other universities wherein we have MOUs which are either right now in pipeline or we are signing already. CGCRI is one that we are working with Kolkata for peak PEC and such material requirement, and especially so material development is completely a different ball game altogether. That is what we have realized. You cannot use your standard molding grade material on a 3D printer and say, okay, I'll just use a pallet extruder or maybe and get a filament out and print it on the machine. No, 3D printing is a process which is completely different. You will need to engineer these materials with certain additives, and these materials need to be handled in a different way. And that's where I think with all these institutions and the MOUs that we have with them, and we always do that. We in a year we have around, at least we decide 4 to 5 areas wherein we want to work. Especially two of them are with materials at least every year, and we sign an MOU and we work with these institutions very closely. Because that is something which is very important. They have state-of-the-art, labs and setups, and even scientists and people who are ready to contribute, support, and go out of the way. And we have got amazing minds here in India. So with the kind of inputs we can bring in from our users and their expertise, we've been able to work with materials and in fact bring down the cost of these materials, 3D printed materials, raw materials, by almost 3 times for our customers and users here in India. So that was something which was made possible. Otherwise, importing these materials and then using it on the machine would, again, technology needs to be affordable in order to grow. For that growth to happen, you need affordability. That's very important, and we are conscious about it. So that's where we are working with all these institutes and even government organizations for material development.
So, Swapnil, now for a general viewer, just wanted to understand, what are these machines? They are the FFM machines that you are dealing in currently?
Yeah, they are basically FFF machines at the end of the day. So the working principle is same. What we have done here is we are working with specific materials. So material blend is something that we have developed now. And also we have developed something called as AFPM, Advanced Fusion Plastic Modeling. So when I talk about AFPM, it is again our patented technology. We patented this in India and in the US as well, wherein you can do high speed, high strength 3D printing. So it's very important. If you are looking at end use component, you need to make it fast. You need to have mechanical properties of the component which is as good as or equal or better than the intended or the other material that you're using on the CNC machining or molding process. And also the quality is important. So to ensure that, we have developed this technology for high strength, high speed 3D printing. And basically what it does is it does change the flow and the temperature of the material according to the part geometry, and also ensures almost better layer bonding between the layers of the component, and that too we also have specific code on the machine that ensures this hot and cold cycles between the layers. So it's like, you have brick and mortar kind of a, layering happening. So you have certain layers are high temperature, certain layers are low temperature, but ensuring your whole geometry is not deforming and still you have, superior surface finish and better mechanical properties. So that is something that we have taken care of. Over the years, we have developed it. But that delivers, a much better throughput, surface finish, and basically the mechanical properties also. And since you see that we are looking at now the era wherein we have a molded component or a CNC component in hand, and we try and compare that and say, okay, this lasts for say 1,000 cycles, and now I'm expecting 3D printed components also to last 1,000 cycles, like on a fixture or any other application. And initially when we started, I don't think so we all were thinking about that. We were just thinking about 3D printing as a prototyping technology, and they used to call it RPT machines. Now we have a company wherein they are manufacturing drones. They actually make drone components, and they make custom agri-tech drones. Basically, every month they make 30 to 40 drones and deliver to their customer. And they have now written on top of the machine, a drone part manufacturing machine. They don't call it 3D printer. I don't know why they put up a name. I wanted to, so that's going to be my next LinkedIn post. So that is the shift that we all have seen, and one of the companies, when we installed initially, they had a name RPT machine. So okay. I guess that's where the whole process is going, and that's why we have developed AFPM and the process. It is similar to FFF, but some tweaking in terms of the whole lacunas that we had in the technology.
Good. So that's a very interesting thing to know, that industries have now taken up the technology and then would want to name that according to their interest, because that means the penetration is gaining. So it's gaining some traction. Now, Swapnil, also now that we know that this technology can actually offer solutions across sectors, so which are the sectors that you are currently focusing on?
So right now,
I'm sure the application could be varied, but are you focusing sector-wise, or as it comes to you in your innovation lab in terms of solutions people are looking at and asking? I'm also saying if it is strategically looked at as a strategy for marketing and then trying to address these sectors, then I think it also makes sense for us to be more involved to get their inputs, and then work accordingly in terms of offering them the solutions.
So right now we are looking at more or less tooling industry, especially casting and fixturing industry, very aggressively. And then one part of so basically there is a team for driving these applications, and we've also collaborated with certain integrators who are expert in casting and who are expert in fixture designing since past 30, 35, 40 years. And so that's where we are we're working with these two industries very aggressively. And parallelly now, because we want to collaborate and work with academia for research for sure, and that is how we will also keep moving forward. We know that, and that we don't want to say no to academia, and also bring out bring all the customer feedback to these basically organizations or research organizations, maybe academia, maybe government organizations, and collaborate with them. So we also have one division which is taking care of custom machines. So these machines are especially developed according to their requirement. So maybe if you need pallet extruder, we can give you a machine up to 3 meter cube with pallet extruder. We can give you a machine with say ceramic extruder, or even gel based extrusion with maybe UV curing and all. You may be having different requirements, and on top of that you come up and you can say you want a hybrid machine. We can also provide you with a hybrid machine which can do maybe 3D print the component and finish with a CNC mill. So yes, we are especially, as I said, looking at fixturing and pattern making industry very aggressively on the industry side, and on the research side, we are working with a lot of these research institutes and providing machines to them and working with them. That also keeps us moving, and keeps the innovation cycle moving much faster than what we all at Divide by Zero can do on our own. So that's the whole idea.
Okay, so what is your immediate action you have maybe made to see that there is more penetration in the market?
So right now we are looking at going global. We have already exported machines to Malaysia, US right now, and UAE obviously, and Kuwait and other small countries also here and there. But what we are looking at going globally, especially with the kind of applications that we are working with, and with the automotive industry and other industries. So now that good part is we are also, our machines and the name is mentioned in many research papers also with a lot of scholars, because you are part of that research. You do that, and they also put up your parameters. So through that, we are also getting lot of recognition through other countries, because maybe other scholars are working on similar research papers and they are looking at these papers as reference, so they also connect and they are also looking at machines. Yes, so export, because Indian market I guess is around 4 to 5% of total AM market. It's huge, 96%. I guess we all, I always tell fellow competitors also, or maybe people in industry that maybe it's an industry, it's growing, yes, for sure, but we also have quality machines that we all are making here, or products that we all are making here, and we should look at global market, and that's where even we are looking at now. So by God's grace, we have bagged some orders in from the US as well, and that's something which is keeping us busy right now. But we are looking at going global full-fledged on that side. So yeah, that's something which is coming up and happening for us.
And now I will not ask you that question, that how satisfied are you with the Indian markets, though I'm sure you are, but you are looking at global, so that's really commendable, and really appreciate your effort, Swapnil. But I also know that creating opportunities here in terms of a manufacturing hub can also be a great idea.
Yeah.
Especially with the support coming from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now that a strategy has been set for additive manufacturing, the larger intent would be also to create more IPs in various different products. And how actively you would like to participate in that kind of a scheme what the government is actually setting up. And also because that we know the ethos of Atmanirbhar Bharat is also to create this as an initiative by the government of India. So how do you want to actively participate in that direction?
So I think, we will be more than happy to be part of any such drive or any such effort that is happening. But on our side, first of all, I guess in terms of manufacturing, or in terms of making machines, materials, software. So software has been, software industry, and especially in India, has been growing really big for sure. And that's our forte as well as an industry. I think so. I believe so. So it can start from the software side for sure, because there is going to be a huge shift towards on-demand manufacturing, as even you agree and I agree on that, and I think many of us in this industry agrees. And when that happens, you need connected machines, you need connected basically devices, systems, and the whole ecosystem to support that. To me, if you say, I would look at this as what is that minimum effort that we can put through so that can have a maximum impact, and I think that's the path of least resistance, I would say, software. And then from there, looking at more machines and building a protocol that wherein you can connect all these machines all together. But when on the Atmanirbhar Bharat side or the Make in India side, I guess that is something that should be looked at when you are looking at creating IPs and connecting, because now that we all know that this is going to go big. Some effort here on this side, on the software side especially, can result into something tangible, and also not only making Atmanirbhar Bharat, but also ensuring that our software is being installed and maybe is part of every on-demand manufacturing network out there. Could be a next great thing. It can be the next Windows or next Linux, because that is where this is all going now. And I guess it's the similar era, if you can see or say, in terms of 3D printing and on-demand manufacturing, and you need operating systems for now those kind of manufacturing setups. And if we can build it here and if we can work on that area, I think it's going to be much bigger and we can create maximum impact. yes, what we are making in terms of machines, materials, that is, I guess, that was the passion, and that is where we all, I mean, at Divide by Zero, I started, my company started. But if you ask me where, the impact will be maximum, I guess that is where we should be looking at. And for such efforts, I guess we have plenty of engineers here. We have a lot of talent here. We don't need maybe a lot of space and a lot of resources. Only a good leadership and good, ideation and maybe people with experience. And a lot of us are there working for many, companies outside India. I think it can be made big. Yeah.
Great. One more thing, actually, Swapnil, what is the initiative we have taken to educate the students community who are aspirants and want to learn about AM? Because they are the ones who would all. Because I mean, more, education and training will mean that we have more prospects and opportunities going forward. Because these are the same students who will also become entrepreneurs, want to start up with their manufacturing unit.
Right. So, from Divide by Zero's perspective, what we do is we have open house almost every fortnightly for students and especially with institutes. And what we do is we let them come in with their questions if they have any, and then maybe because they already know what 3D printing is. Now their questions are not even. The school students, these days, they know what 3D printing is. They have these machines in labs. Some of them have built machines at home, and it's amazing, and it's really makes me feel proud. I mean, but then now their questions are how can we build an electronic device completely? Maybe how can we fabricate a PCB using this machine? What kind of materials I can use to build a 3D printed sensor? And so on and so forth. So segment wise, if you're talking to electronics, students from electronics, basically engineering, then they have different questions. From material side, they have different questions, and sometimes they are they are already working on something very deep and very meaningful. So many times, even Shibu, I'll tell you, even we get to learn a lot from them. Okay, this is something that we should look at, and then it triggers also some ideas to us. We talk to them, and then we also ask them. So from there, we ask them for if we find someone, if students are working on good initiatives, we also take them up as an intern, work with them, see if whatever credits we can give them and whatever support we can do for their project. And also it also adds value to us as well as a company, and we get to see, because being in a business, and when we are working on the current problems that we are trying to solve, maybe we are limited by the options that we have, but especially for the students, they are open. Every possibility is out there, and they think everything is possible, and that kind of thinking is also limitless, and sometimes it is constructive, and they also have some amazing solutions that they come up with. So yes, we do certain open houses. We also work with so we are partnered with IMTMA. We are partnered with certain institutes wherein we have put up machines, and we do these programs for training for especially for students, engineering students, and postgraduate as well, because some of them are also working on research areas, and they need to understand what kind of pain points are there, what kind of topics we can choose, what all options are there. If we do this, if there are any companies or credible sources wherein we can get user data or to back up their research as well. So similar to what you are doing, you are connecting all these dots here in the industry. We also connect, and then we connect them to sometimes maybe a scientist or maybe a research fellow in IIT Bombay. He needs some reference, and maybe we can connect him somebody with that Anna University or so on and so forth. So that happens, and that works out. So yes, and we are very well open for any such support, because I think even that is very important part. As you grow, you will also have to look at giving back and see if we can add value to the students, because they are going to be tomorrow's engineers and users, and maybe people who actually use our machines as well later on. Maybe we have no idea.
Since you mentioned about new ideas and creating new ideas, any concept that you have in mind which probably would have been a breakthrough, not IP led, but otherwise which is actually in the domain, something that you would probably want to share, what your technology could do, and especially with Divide by Zero?
So there were 2-3 applications that we developed, but I would just talk about one application and one basically technology that we have developed. One is we are able to. So I come from sheet metal industry background. Almost for 9 years I was working with sheet metal industry, and one pain point we had was sheet metal forming tools, and especially these forming tools, they take a lot of time. Vendors, they would take around 3 to 4 weeks bare minimum to get these forming tools done, and 60-65% industry largely uses sheet metal components less than 1.5 mm. Especially when it comes to furniture industry, even automotive industry, all the sheet metal industry, 60-65% is close to 1.5 mm. That means your tonnage is much lesser, and we realized that we can use 3D printed tools and we can actually make them work. So we did a lot of work on that. We started with air bending and sheet metal forming tools. From there to now small draw, and maybe we are also testing a deep draw tool now. So this is something which is very innovative, because it's a huge pain point for any industry, and you can't always use plastic components to replace metal. You will need sheet metal component for certain type of testing. If it's an automotive part, if it's a medical device wherein you need metal shielding or you need a metal component, you need that. So this was one breakthrough that we had, and that's where we are popular amongst a lot of sheet metal manufacturers. They are not using our machines for prototyping, but trial tools, and that is something which has worked really well for us. Secondly, now we have come up with 3-axis and 5-axis hybrid machines. By hybrid, I mean we have a polymer extrusion head which is 3D printing the component, and then there is a milling head which comes and finishes that component, and you have a CNC-like finish component from this machine. But the best part is you are not getting into multiple softwares and different platforms to create a slicing G-code for 3D printing and then very complex for 5-axis. No, it's happening through one single platform. With one click, you just load the file and machine will take care of all of it. And that was something that we wanted to do and make it work since last 2.5 years, because we realized that this is something which is required on the desktop. And if you can have a machine that can give me a CNC finish output on a desktop, that too you have, you can make that component in a cost of FFF machine. Then we saw that it's going to be a game changer for pattern making or even for fixturing industry and for on-demand manufacturing especially. So that is something we've been working on, and in fact you will see next week itself one of the first videos, launch videos, and even the launch happening.
Amazing. Congratulations for that effort, because I think that actually the hybrid is something which will also make the requirements more worth in terms of what is expected in terms of both in one kind of a setup. So that's an innovation by itself. So I would now ask you for a vision statement that you have, Swapnil, for what I know, where you started and now where you're actually progressing. And I'm sure the pathway is set in terms of for you and the company. You have really led the company well the way it is. So what is your vision statement now, Swapnil, about for you, and what you are looking at in terms of a statement that you would want to make?
So again, it's about becoming the most, I would say, loved tech company by 2025, and because we had a very strong sense of contributing towards the industry and ensuring the whole cycle runs through, because 2 years back I had this concept, and I used to talk to my friends in industry and about moving from cherry to cake. And that was about, this 3D printing or rapid prototyping part of it was only the icing or the shiny cherry on the cake, but not the actual cake. It's not wherein we are not as, becoming part of manufacturing per se. And that was something what was not driving 3D printing that fast, and things were not moving for this industry as well. And not even, it's all about ensuring the end user benefit and the ROI and the basically profits for end customers, and if they have it, your users are going to have it, your companies, your customers are going to have it, and then we will also have it for sure. So throughout the value chain, we want to make sure that value value is driven, and that's where we moved from typical materials to the kind of materials that we are working on. That's where, in fact, to be very honest, Shibu, we already have a laser sintering machine tested and ready, but we did not launch it because we know it for sure that it is not what is going to move the value chain. The cost of that machine is still going to be much higher for a normal user to afford. You want an affordable machine on your desktop, which is maybe probably building your components at the cost of FFF machine, but still ensuring your finished output, which can be still comparable to your cast nylon or the normal options you have available with CNC. And so the whole vision is to go global on that and ensure we drive value to end user with the speed, with on-demand manufacturing, and for sure we want to work with a lot of partners on that, and so create a network of people who work with us, not for us, being it our people, partners and customers, and then constantly have that feedback from them and grow this on-demand manufacturing whole evolution and do our bit to push it forward as much as possible. That's the whole idea on the vision.
Congratulations, Swapnil, for your growth story that we see from where you started as a prototyping machine company to an industrial grade offering an end solution to the industry. Congratulations for all the efforts made, and I know the journey is not easy, but all the best for your future endeavor, and I'm sure there is great prospects going forward as an indigenous company that you have been able to foundate.
And Shibu, thanks to you as well for making sure companies like us, they get the credit. They are coming on this platform, and you are ensuring people know about us, and companies like me. You have been doing a lot of efforts all these years. Maybe you had your Trinity Media Awards. From there to this initiative that you're doing now, to your exhibitions, or maybe the article that you put through, and the whole effort that you're doing. Thank you for encouraging me and people in my industry.
Thank you, Swapnil. It's always a pleasure because this technology has driven us with passion, and we will want to do the best in terms of what it can do and how we can do in terms of creating these platforms to see that the end user benefits from it. But all credit to you, because you're the ones who have actually really put in the efforts to create these products. Because if you don't have a product, you have nothing to speak about. So congratulations and all the very best, and keep working hard and create more IPs, and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Shibu.